Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Karina, good morning. Scruff, how you doing, buddy? Okay, this is a great morning. Good morning, good afternoon. So, let's have a look. Let's see what's going on today. So, trading early today. What I might do is after this is come back. We'll have maybe a 30-minute break or something. And then after this, otherwise we're going to be sat around here for 45 minutes with the market crawling in front of us. So CPI day, just looking at price, definitely low volume overnight. Possibly something to do with the stuff that's been going on in the US. Might have been why it's a little bit quiet. But I believe things haven't been as bad as they could have been, which is good news. So hopefully the damage is minimal or less than was possibly expected, and hopefully people can get back on with their lives as quick and as painless as possible. So locked and loaded for CPI, yeah. So I'm going to do mine on. The reason I do it on the NQ, let me just have a look. I'm not going to miss it. Okay, the reason I do it on the NQ is to pass a 50k account. All I need to do is to get 60. I think it's 63 ticks. I always go for one extra, 63 ticks. So at the moment, it's the size of that bar. Whereas if I wanted to do it on the ES, I have got to go for 6.25 points, which is there, which is about twice the size of the average bar. So is a bit more distance to travel with this. So I find it quicker and easier and more likely to pass it on that NQ. So that's what I'm going to trade it on. Now, one or two things could happen here. As most of you probably know, price can either shoot, let's say, data comes out now, price can actually shoot straight up or can shoot straight down. And on the odd occasion, it does like a bit of a whiplash. It'll push up a bit and then rocket down. Why it does that, I don't quite know. You think if it's either positive or negative news, it'll either go up or down. But on the odd occasion, it can whip up and whip down. So I think the best thing to do is just to give it a little bit more space. So maybe something like that. Now, obviously, the more space you give it, the less likely you are to caught in the whip, but the less likely then you are to get caught in the move. But let's say I got in there and there, I would have to get distance-wise, I don't know why it does that sometimes, 63 ticks, which is, I go for 64 actually, just gives you that little bit extra. So I've got to travel that distance, which is not a great deal if it's if the news is as it normally is, and vice versa. It's not going to travel that far, but on the odd occasion you do get a bit of a whip up and down. So I think it's probably safer. Sometimes I do it like that. In fact, I don't think I've done it like that, but I did watch like a few of you did. I think Joe's video, and he puts his a little bit there. But I'd say realistically this works about 75% of the time, maybe a bit more. But I just wonder whether looking at price, whether that makes a difference, whether it would likely shoot down and take that out or what, I don't know. But sometimes even with a quick move, it still tends to fit somehow. So we'll see how we get on anyway, but I'm probably going to put it somewhere like that. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think? But I think so. I mean, in the past, I put it like this, and it doesn't make a difference, to be honest. So it's just if it gets caught in that whiplash effect. So quickly, that offer finished last night, and we haven't had a new offer yet. It's gone back to 50%. But I did speak to Charlie Baker earlier, and he said at the moment, if you do pass it, it's still $85. So that's good news. So if anybody hasn't done this, I'm just going to bring this in. In fact, I'll have to bring the whole thing in, really. Just going to bring it in like that. So if anybody doesn't know, I think most of you guys know what an OCO order is. It just stands for one cancels the other. So if you right click in this space here, select OCO. You can see it pop up in green at the top of the chart there, and that then will enable you to put a buy order, buy stop order, and a sell stop order. So obviously, I would say maybe something like 30 seconds before you want it in place there and there. And that's what that does. And then when you've finished with the order, right click and get rid of it. So if anybody doesn't know, if price shoots up and hits your buy, it cancels your sell and vice versa. So you don't get caught in a buy and then a sell. You know what I mean? So one cancels, oh, that's what it stands for. So where are we now? What time are we? Okay, so realistically, we want our orders in place in about 4 minutes. So make sure everything's set up right. I've got a custom order set. You can see it's set for 64 ticks. And I just put that more because on the rare occasion, it'll trigger you, shoot down, go through your stop and come back, and it won't stop you out. I've had that happen once, I think. So I always give it a little bit extra there. Whether it makes a difference or not, I don't think. But it's less important than that. This is the important bit. And 10 contracts, make sure you've got on 10 contracts. Now, you could blow this, you could lose it. But I think it is around about a 75% win rate. And for $33, well, that's what it was yesterday. I bought mine yesterday for $33. It's not a massive risk, I don't think, but we could be trading a live account on it tomorrow. So just keep that in mind that, you know, you can blow it. I have to click again on the ATM, the order. Yeah, sometimes I've done this before and I've closed it
order canceled
and gone to open it again. It won't let me
submitted.
do it. It does at the moment.
Order submitted.
But if it doesn't let you do it, just right click, deselect OCO order, and then right click and reselect it. But mine seems to be okay at the moment. So I've got a buy and a sell order up there. So I'm going to drag them in. I'm just trying to think the best place. I'm just trying to think where there's liquidity. If it pushes down, it may take out some liquidity. So if it goes below there, it may go a bit further. So I'm guessing I might put mine something like that. Now, if it moves in one direction, it's irrelevant about the other side. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a personal thing where you want to put it. Sometimes I like to get it in as close as possible because I think most of the time it just shoots off in one direction, but on the odd occasion it can rattle a little. But what I might do is keep it tight, I think, today. Maybe something like that. So what time have we got? Okay, so we've got about 2 minutes before the news comes out, so we want it in place. About 30 seconds before. Yeah, they haven't said nothing, but I spoke to Charlie Baker earlier and he said it's still $85 at the moment. Yeah, evals are showing 50%. I have checked as well. So hopefully if you're doing this, you bought it yesterday. But he thinks we should get something today. You would expect to get it something straight away because if people go and get an eval and it's showing only 50% off, they may go somewhere else. So I think I'm going to do mine somewhere like that. So where are we now? Remove. So let's have a look at the time. So around about 1 minute and 20 seconds till the news comes out. So let's get it a bit closer. So fingers crossed. Remember, this could go either way. It may work, it may not. No, nobody's. Absolutely. Absolutely. No one's going to buy that. I wouldn't. I don't expect anybody to. So I'm going to get mine close. So about 30 seconds to the news, I'm going to drag it in a bit closer. But yeah, I think something will happen today. They'll do something. Okay. Where are we now? So 22, so I'm going to start bringing this in. I don't know whether it'll trigger that out first. It's hard to know where to put it really for the best, but okay, 36. So you want it in place, I'd say about now. So I'm going to put that like that and like that. We'll just see what happens. If you lose it, you lose it. It's only $30. But hopefully it goes in one direction. So we've got about 8 seconds. So let's see where the luck's on our side.
Order filled.
Right, what happened?
Order
Failed. That's what I mean. It whiplashed. If I'd have had mine up here, that would have worked. But I lost mine. It depends where you put yours. If you put it above here, you pass that. That one failed. Down $15,000 on that one. So did anybody pass it? If you add it above there, that's what I mean. Sometimes it goes up and then comes down. So if you add yours above here, you're okay. You'd have passed that one. But yeah, down $15,000 on that. So I'm just going to have to... So anybody win that one? Anybody get in there? You passed it, did you? Good on you, mate. Yeah, so if you have it a little bit higher, so it didn't push as far as I thought. So if you had it, normally it is, yeah, but it works more often than not. So if you add your order there and say down below there, let's say you add it there, you've got to go down 60 ticks. So you'd have comfortably, your sell order would have triggered. But it didn't actually move that far, to be honest with you. But see what I mean about that whip up and down? Sometimes it does that. That's the way it goes. Yeah, it is, yeah. So, Rodian, you passed it. Anybody else pass it? I was down $15,000. Don't even know how that happened. So, yeah, it wasn't a big move, that, in all fairness. So if you bought it here, if you bought up here, yeah, if you'd have had your buy order above this, you'd have been okay, I think. And if you've had your buy order, sorry, so let's measure from the bottom of that, roughly from the bottom. So 64 ticks, which is there. So if you put it below here, that's all the move you needed to grab there. 60, well, a tick or two more. That's it. Small move, really. So if you went short below there, yeah, you're okay. You're also down 15. I don't know how the hell 15,000 worked, to be honest with you. I'll try again next news. Yeah, but I mean, for the price it costs you, for the chance to be, trading a live account. So just deselect OCO and you're back. PPI tomorrow night. Yeah, I don't mind having a go for $30. That's about $33, about 25 English pounds. So for the chance to pass it, I don't know how the hell I had mine here. How the hell is that down $15,000? Even if I got in about here somewhere. So 63 ticks, so 180 ticks is about $9,000. So I don't know. Maybe I got a bit closer. That's what I mean. Sometimes you don't know whether you want to get in closer still. I mean, if I'd have been there... In fact, let me have a look. I'll tell you. Let's find out where I was in. Let's have a look at this. Ah, look at that. I missed it by a tick. Look at that. So my entry was here. Right, okay. Right, I can't understand this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So literally, if I was a couple of ticks higher, that would have missed me and I'd have passed that one. And this is the where I got in for the I don't know. It's hard to say, really. But it was literally right on the nose. If I'd have had that a few more ticks, I'd have been okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. Sometimes it does do that whippy effect. But look at that. If I was a few ticks higher, that's where I think I got stopped out eventually. But if I was a few ticks higher, I'd have passed that. So my short order would have been there, and I needed 63 ticks, which is there. So if that was a little bit higher, I'd have been okay there, but that's the way it happens. But I don't mind taking the risk for $34, $33, whatever it is. So crazy that, isn't it? So let's put that back to where it normally goes and get rid of that for now. Move that back out. So what I'm going to do, I think I'll leave the stream. What time are we? 25 to. I think I'll leave the stream on and come back in about 40 minutes. So let me have a look. Let's have a look. What time? If I come back around about 1:15, which is about 40 minutes, is that right? 40 minutes. So that would be 9:15 Eastern. So back at 15 time. See, babies are waking up. I know that feeling. It's been 16 years since I've had babies waking up, but so let's just make that a little larger. Yeah, there's no point in sitting here. There'll be nothing will be happening really. So let's put that there, and I'm going to leave that there. I don't foresee it goes much further, leg and a leg. I'll leave the stream going, so if any of you guys want to, if you are still trading, you want to chat amongst yourself, I'll leave that going tomorrow again. I don't know what news there is tomorrow, mind you. But yeah, it's a shame that if I was a little bit higher than there, the short would have triggered, and I'd have been okay there, but it just goes to show, doesn't it? It literally on the nail, a few ticks higher. I kind of put it there because it was slightly above there, but a few ticks higher. And I'd have been okay. That would have won there, but at least some of you won anyway, so that's something. PPI tomorrow night should be good. It produces, yeah. I mean that sometimes it will rocket in another way, and sometimes it goes. I don't quite know why it shoots up and then down, but it does sometimes. So there you go. I'm going to leave you guys to it, and I'll be back in about 40 minutes ish. Around about quarter past 9 Eastern time. I'll just get rid of the evaluation. I like it deleted and off my system. 15,000. I'm glad I didn't accidentally trade one of my PA accounts. Good thing about having that Guardian Angel is I can't trade. It won't allow me to trade my accounts before 2:30. And after 6, so it sort of takes that away from you. So let's cancel that one. And delete it. I like it off the system. Remove from dashboard. Remove account. Beautiful. Okay, so I'll see you guys in around about 35 minutes ish. Okay, I'm back. Let's have a look. Okay, so we'll bin that now. So, shame about that, but there you go. Sometimes it happens. But to be honest with you, I trade my evaluations quite aggressively anyway. So I've probably got more chance of passing and doing that. But it's just a shame a couple of ticks higher. And that long would have missed and hit the short below there. So that's what happens. But in most cases, it does just shoot straight up or shoot straight down. So let's have a look here. Have we got a couple of legs? Maybe not. Not sure about it. Hey, Speedy. 80% off. No more. Well, I spoke to Charlie Baker earlier, and he said we've still got the $85, and it's probably just haven't got round to do it. They won't leave it at 50. It hasn't been at 50 for a year or two. Sometimes it'll go back to 71% for maybe a week. But I think with all the things that have happened with Apex, they've come forward and made a couple of apologies. So I'll be surprised if you don't get something by the end of the day. See, in the US at the moment, it's just, I think where Daryl Martin are, Texas, is that more central time, is it? So maybe it'll take a few hours for them to sort of get up and get to work and maybe adjust something. But I'll be surprised if we don't get something. I'll be shocked if we don't. So I won't worry about it at the moment. Just sit fire. But whatever you do, don't pay the 50%. Just wait. I don't know. I'm not sure, Karina. But I would say we'll find out something by the end of the day. Look at there. There's a higher low there. Sorry, higher low, a second entry long there. Now, I can't trade my accounts at the moment. But just for the fun of it, I'm going to buy this eval, depending on how it closes. Let's have a look. It's actually, in fact, it's actually more bullish on my other chart, I think. Yeah, it is. So it's a bit slow
Order
here.
canceled.
So just for the fun of it.
Order submitted.
This is a sim, by the way. I'm just going to chuck an order in there just to see if that works. But it is a second entry long. It is holding there. We've had kind of a couple of legs down, and this to me looks like it's moving back up. So let's just see if that does trigger. But as I say, it's just a sim. This it won't let me trade my accounts till 2:30, which I kind of like. So one of the issues I had, and if you watch that guy from Dubai, I forget his name now. You know what I mean, that trade who does really well. I remember watching one of his videos, and he said when he was a newer trader, one of those problems he had was that urge to come back to the charts. And, you say to yourself, I'm just going to watch, and then you talk yourself into a trade, and before you know it, you're down a few $100s or whatever. So that's one of the things he gave up, and I like the fact that I have this Guardian Angel trader, and it won't let me put a trade in before 2:30. It won't let me put one after 6 o'clock. So once my 2:30 or 6 is done, I can't touch trading. I can't do nothing. And I can't even get on my Guardian Angel to adjust it until, I think, 1 o'clock the following day. So by that time, any emotions or anything like that, things like that are affecting me less and less now. But I don't know if it's going to work out.
Order
Things
cancelled.
are affecting me less and less. But it is nice just to have that backup in case something happens in your life or those emotions just, get a little bit too much. We all have bad days from time to time, depending on what's going on in your life. Sometimes things can affect it like that. So I think it's useful. Reload. I think it's useful to just have it as a backup. So market is due open in around about 2.5 minutes. So I'm going to set my stuff up. That might work actually. Like it's hard to say. Okay, so where are we? Let's set my replicanto up. So 89. 89. So pre-allocation. Two. I think that's right. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 2. Okay, market is opening in less than a minute. So 89 is 3. 100 is 3 and 101. Is that right? 89. Can't remember how I do it now. I missed the news trading. How did it go? I didn't. I think a few failed. I failed. A couple, I think, passed. 89. Oh, okay. Let me just change this. So 100. 100. 100 is 2 contracts. 2 of these are 3. Great. Sorry if I'm talking to myself. So 100 I've got there. Let me just check. 100.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Order cancelled.
98 should be a 3, I think. I think we're good now.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay.
Order cancelled.
So that one eventually did work, but it's still a bit early at the moment. Just 1 second, I'll start talking. So 1, 2. Okay, we're good. Excellent. Okay. I haven't got my Discord up. Let's just get that up. Yeah, I missed it by a tick. If I was a tick or 2 higher, it wouldn't have triggered me long and then shot down. It did that where it shot up and down. So, yeah, another couple of ticks and I'd been okay. But I don't. It's all right. It's $30 odd, isn't it? I don't mind now and again having a go at those. I get more luck on them than trade them myself. So let's have a look. So So far, I think, see, we've had this big push up, couple of legs back, and push up, and we push right through all-time highs. So all-time highs are up here now. That's all-time highs. Pretty sure that was it, yeah. So just going to all-time highs, locked, extend right. Okay, so all-time highs up here. So I think this is probably the start of a range day by the looks of things. I don't think there's anything larger. No, not just yet, I don't think. So possibly a second entry long there. It's hard to say. See, we are bouncing a little bit off that midline, or close to it. Would I take a long now? Probably not, I don't think. Although this NQ, there is well, it's gone a bit too far for a higher low, but it has trapped a bear bar there. So it's a bit early at the moment. It's a little bit sideways, so it could trigger and come down here. So for me personally, I think it's an inside bar anyway. So that's a bit risky, I think. It may work, but it's not something I really want to get into. Anybody put any charts up yet? No. Where's Thomas Wade's chart? He's got nothing up here yet, which is unusual. So that bar there, if you took that as a second entry long on my other chart, no, it didn't look any better really. What I will do is put that there. So it does seem that this hurricane wasn't as bad as it could have been, which is good news. I think it did calm down, I think, didn't it, to a degree. I think things certainly could have been a lot worse. So hopefully, if any of you guys have been caught in it, hopefully the damage is minimal. So yeah, if you'd have taken that second entry long, triggered, you stopped out. So it's kind of floating there, but it's very much sideways. So 1, 2, 3. This, we got kind of two legs up. Possibly a triple test. It's hard to say at the moment, but it's hard to place this really. I'm not really sure about that. So let's remove it. But we are bounced once, twice, 3 times. Let's have a look. One, two, three. Could there be a triple test here? I'd like it to break below there, really, before I even consider it. So a little bit of a range. Break out the top, leg and a leg. We could get the opposite this side. So let me just... I'm not sure. In fact, someone's just posted a message actually on one of the Facebook groups. Can we still do $35 resets? Excuse me just a second. Sorry about that. Just a knock on the door. Okay, so no. Let's get rid of that. What is going on here? Possibly something like that. It's hard to say at the moment. It just may come down and retest this level. So we've got a bit of a range here. I suppose some may say that's a breakout that may fail. I think I'm staying away from that just at the moment. It's a bit too early here. I don't know whether we're going to trigger that and come down lower or whether it's going to push up. It's hard to say, really. If it's going to push up, then maybe a higher low might be a better option. But in my opinion, just at the moment, I'm sitting tight on that. Let's have a look. Tech, now you doing, buddy? So the second entry long failed, but we can always redraw the channel. And it turned out trend break did not happen. Yeah. Tough one at the moment. So, in fact, Thomas Wade has just finally posted his chart, and he's got that like around about there, I think. So we've already had a break and a new high, so it's hard to say what we're doing here. It's a bit too early. I mean, that breakout worked. Whether it's a failed one, whether it will push in or not, I don't know. But if you look at this, there is a possible chance it could come down earlier. We hit all-time highs yesterday. So, in fact, that's interesting, isn't it? Look at that. Touch, touch, touch. Close enough there. I can adjust that a touch. But look how that's fitted there as well. So that's really interesting. Look how nice that's fitting there. And then we had that bit of news and we jumped out the bottom. So that's interesting, that is. Excuse me a sec. Yeah, so that actually fits kind of nice there. And then we come back up, touch this level, come back up again and touch this level. Obviously, the news shut up, cleared out possible liquidity here and here, and then rocketed down. Actually watching that downtrend as a two-tiered channel. Are you really? Let's have a look. Yeah. That's actually not too bad, is it? Let's have a look. Yeah. I mean, I think initially that broke, let's have a look, it was around 8:30, yeah. So that broke initial highs anyway, all new highs, and then we had kind of two legs back, and then we moseyed on up and broke it again, and then we had that little sell-off just before the end of the day, and then just a little pullback there. So, yeah, it's definitely playing a part around that centre line, isn't it? Midline, whatever you want to call it. So, it's hard to know whether this is going to come up to here or come to here or go down there. Let's have a look. Yeah, I tend to not pay attention to those, excuse me, in the actual trend. Fortunately, it closed within this anyway. Laufey, how you doing, bud? I think it's too bearish to go long. I think, Phil, you might be right, mate. Especially now I got this there. It has kind of got really a bearish. I mean, it is early. It could bounce here, bounce again, and come back up here. You just don't know. But reacts off here, yeah. I certainly think it's worth paying attention to that. But yeah, we did have that strong move upwards, a couple of legs back, and then another one when we got across this. So that was an all-time highs during the day, and a couple of times more as well. So whether we'll have another go or whether this thing will come down a little bit. In fact, let's have a look on the daily. 10,000 tick chart first. 10,000 tick chart. So kind of a couple of legs down. There's a bullish bar here, so this could come back up to this area again. Channel down. May come back up here again. So if you look at that, that might be something like that, maybe. So we could come down, but we could tick above this, come down and clear the lows. Either way, bearish. And on the daily, oh no, sorry, 2,000 tick chart. On the daily, we pushed up cleanly above that that bearish bar we triggered, and another good solid bullish day yesterday. So now we're up here. I would guess there'll be a small pullback. It has touched there, but maybe a little bit lower. But I certainly think we're certainly bullish at the moment, I think, anyway. I mean, a small pullback on here doesn't mean it's not bullish, but it can make a massive difference, obviously, on the 2,000 tick chart. So let's have a look. So I would say, in fact, do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we had that leg down, a correction up to here, and then another leg down, which will take us to yesterday's open area, right on, actually. So let me have a look. So we kind of got a leg down. We've got, sorry, it depends how you draw this, but we could have a leg up and another leg up to this area. So, I mean, that's just, call it an educated guess. It's just a possibility, but it would kind of work within this channel, a leg and a leg. I mean, it may not do that at all, but I'm just thinking what the possibilities. If we go from there, that gets us right into this area of picking off the top of that again, and it's a nice correction. So leg down. If we can get up there, that'll be a lovely correction. So there is a higher low there. But although I think it's going to get up there, I'm not guaranteed, so I'm going to stay out of trades like this at the moment because we are bearish and that may get trapped. There could be a second entry short, we could come down. So this is sort of, call it maybe educated speculation, but there's also really, well, technically it's not, but you can clearly see it's two pushes up, and there is a big bullish bar triggered, so that could come down. What do I think? See, looking at that, the NQ, there's also a triple test there. So that could come, wow, look at that. How quick did that sell off there? So that might not be a bad short to take, really. Trouble is, it's bloody huge. There's a little bit of volatility there. I was just looking at that bar there and it triggered and just dropped. Stop that out. So, yeah, so taking a long trade there, if we can get a lower high, I may have a go at this. So taking a long trade was clearly a bad idea, wasn't it? Because it triggered and dropped. This is bearish at the moment, so a long trade isn't a good idea. So let's have a look at this. So that, to me, doesn't look too bad. So if we can get a lower high here, I may have a go, but I am aware there is some possible support there. Whether it'll make a damn bit of difference, I don't know. Come on, have a pullback. Yeah, just in fact, I was just averted my eyes left to this triple test on here, 1, 2, 3, and as this pushed down, so did that. So I don't think that was a bad trade. The only obviously niggle with that, it was a big bar, but the way that sold off, trapping them longs, you think there's a good chance now we come down to the bottoms as it has. Yeah, Price is taking a trade. Let me have a look. He's got this channel as well, Pricey has, so he's thinking along those same lines, and he took that one. Yeah, trouble is, it moved really quickly, and if you weren't prepared for it, you'd missed it. I wasn't prepared for it because my eyes were looking left here, but it shot down that quick. And it was a rather large bar. I was hoping we were going to get a lower high, but then it just dropped. So let me have a look at this. I'd probably put that there actually, but yeah, shame that. That was actually a nice trade, I think. Technically, by the count, it wasn't a second entry, but as far as I'm concerned, it's visually a second entry. 1 leg up, 2 legs up, trapping a higher low there. In fact, trapping a failure there. And when that came down below, there's a good chance then you expect that to get down the bottom. So it moved pretty quick. So you may have missed that one. I just thought about the size of the bar, and by the time my brain engaged and thought about the size of the bar, it was a bit too loud. I was hoping we get a lower high, which I would have 100% taken. But I think sometimes when you get a bearish bar in the right place, it just doesn't come back. Sellers just jump in and... so who took it? So we know Pricey took it. Thomas Wade took it as well. Yeah, he got in a couple of ticks back. It did move a little bit quick, I think, for me. Unfortunately, at the time, I was just looking at the triple test here, and then that moved quick, and it just goes to show you sometimes if you miss it, it can move it out you pretty quick, which is a shame actually, because although it was a little large, sometimes if I like a trade, I'll take it regardless within reason. So 4.25 points, and I go for 3 points. So it's not huge, but clearly worked in relatively quickly. So I would say, from what I'm seeing, that is an overshoot. Shame that was. The more I look at that, the more I kind of wish I'd have just jumped in it. But sometimes I used to just jump into a trade a lot of the time, just click buy and sell. But I found sometimes I was a bit too impulsive. So I actually stop and think now, which sometimes can make you miss a trade. But all in all, I think it's still a better option to have that extra second or so to think and not be as impulsive, because I find impulsive gets me into trouble more times than it doesn't. In fact, you know what? I can bring that down to there, and I think that fits okay. So that to me is a bit too low. That could trap quite easily. It is a second entry short, but it has triggered, and we have got a little bit of support here, which you can see. So be surprised if that gets stopped out. I hope it holds. It is definitely a second entry short, but it's just too far from there, in my opinion. It may work. Okay, yeah, so second entry short triggered, stop straight out. So whether that's an overshoot or whether it kind of fits a bit, but I think it's probably safer to go with the overshoot for now. Was about to something another eval at Apex. Yeah, there isn't at the moment. I believe you can still do the $35 reset, so check that. If you've failed an eval lately, just check that. So, but I believe we'll get something later today. I spoke to Charlie Baker earlier, and I wanted to clarify. But we've still got the $85 PA fee. But hopefully we get something today. But yeah, if you have just failed an evaluation, I believe the reset option is still available. So we are still bearish here. But touch. Looks like an overshoot to me. It's hard to say. See, Thomas Wade hasn't got that channel. I think it actually works pretty well, to be honest with you. Let me have a look. Some others have 1, 2, 3. A few others have got it. I think at the moment it's about the best we've got. Yeah, he's got it the same as well. And clearly actually looks pretty nice on his chart as a two-tier channel. You can clearly see it bounce there, right the way there, and you can see it here as well and here. So I think you got to look at all these things. How well does it fit there? What does it look like at the bottom? And that two-tiered channel bit, a leg and a leg down, and then back up. I think you can't ignore. Rocketing up. So are we going to start ranging at the moment? We may well do. Or we could just come to the top here. Let's get rid of that for a minute. Shame about that. Nice foul second edge on the NQ. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was okay there. Clearly trapping that bear bar. I always like to trap a trade, trap a bar. It just gives you that extra momentum when it fails. How you doing, John? Looking at it's at the larger range though. I may be wrong. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit early. I mean, even if you forget that and go from there, it still kind of fits. I mean, technically that bit doesn't actually matter. The fact it fits there 3 times is surely even more important, but let's see how it reacts here. You're good, are you? Excellent. Good on you, mate. Got to say, I'm liking this Guardian Angel more and more. So 10,000 tick chart. Touch, 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 touch. Interesting channel down. It's a couple of legs up. So this is interesting. This is. Unfortunately, I don't bother taking those anymore. I wait for this to go down and at least get down below that EMA. I mean, it's bounced in the right place. But sometimes, I don't know, it is kind of working down, but it's also sideways, so it could go up a bit. So looking at this area on the NQ, if there's a lower high here, we've been up here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and every time we've been up here, we've pulled back, and we've pulled back. So if there's a lower high there trapping that, this might not be a bad area to short. The trouble is, we're in a channel there and we haven't had a breakout. But you know, sometimes if we're in a range and we're still in the channel at a certain area, it will just turn down. So this could be a lower high. So if you took that one, you're still in this trade going short. I think there's a good chance you get down here, but unfortunately, I just can't get in there. It is dropping at the right area, but I don't just rely on that. That sort of gives me that initial indication that this is where it could bounce, which is why I generally go for a lower high. And then it does that. That's frustrating. But if you look on that 10,000 tick chart, kind of it's kind of working right, isn't it? Having said that, now look on this NQ, there's a second entry long here. So if this triggers and then comes down, now this is interesting, look at that. Let's see if this triggers. Look at that, look how strong that's pushed up from that. It went below the EMA and look at that. I did not expect that. Some moves, you get used to seeing certain moves and you kind of know where things are going to go, but look, that went sliced straight through that EMA and then pulled back 21 ticks. Strange. That tells me it might not just be this we're looking at. Let's have a look at that 10,000 tick chart again. So interesting. What's going where here? Uh, 10,000 tick chart this. So, I mean, really, if you forget yesterday, we've kind of had a leg and a leg. And then a retest, so it could go up. It's hard to say at the moment. Price is a little bit messy, but when that went down, I'm surprised it turned that quick and came up 21 ticks. It just came down that bar close and woof straight up. Let's see what happens here. See if we can get a lower high below that EMA. It just, that unnerves me. That to me doesn't look like a natural move there. that this market makes, so we could have 2 attempts to go there and push up, so I want to be careful I don't get caught in a short here. For me, there's definitely more of a bearish feel to it, but this could change here. We got a leg up. It could be a second entry long, and this could go right up to here, and then it'd be more of a range day. So back down below the EMA again. But look, came down there, pushed up strong, came down below, pushing up strong. Okay. So we got a break of this channel, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher, a possible lower higher trap here. Well, maybe not. A possible lower higher trap here. We've had the break of this channel, new high, and another attempt to push up. Interesting luck. So channel break, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher. Let's see what happens here. What is going on here? So I'm just going to say I'm starting to not like this more and more, but at the moment we've gone above it and dropped, which tells me maybe this is still in play. Now we've had a break, 2 pushes up. We made, I was going to say a match in low. We haven't quite made a match in new high, but I think that's as good as an attempt. And then all of a sudden we pull straight back below that line. So if we can now push below that EMA, then that may interest me. Channel down, 1 leg attempt higher, 2nd attempt higher, plus a. So it's hard to say. And looking at that 10,000 tick chart, a bearish bar here would look pretty decent, I think. Would be a nice second entry short. Clearly rejection off there. So if this comes down bearish, I think that's a good area to go short on the 10,000 tick chart. Obviously, we've got to wait for a setup, but it's certainly second entry short, but we got a couple of dojis there, so that's a bit. But the good thing is, at least we're still within this channel, and that's a little bit more clear. So we have to wait and see there. Ooh, look at this. Big bullish bar. Ooh, is this going to get trapped, or is this the thing that's going to go rocketing up? So, we've had a break. Few attempts. Look, as soon as we're getting above there, it's pulling back. Let's have a look. So we have a break at this. We made 2 attempts to push higher. I'm not going to consider that just at the moment. Maybe it is 3 attempts. Who knows? But let's have a look. If you take that away, what are we looking at? Very much a range day at the moment. I took a max setup long on the engulf and 4 ticks. It went long. Above that bar there, did you? Let's have a look. Above the red one, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's okay, isn't it? It's clearly trying to push up, isn't it? Mind you, it is getting up here and then getting a little bit of a rejection, but whether it'll hold or not, I don't know. But we've got the midline here. 1, 2, 3. So let's see what happens here. See, on the NQ chart, we've already had a break 2 pushes to a new high, so that technically has played out. And you can, I'm surprised. Well, let's have a look. There is clearly a lot of volume around here. There's a lot of selling here. You can see it there. Let's see how far this thing gets up. Tech, your large channel worked pretty well, but why did you not take some advantage of it? Well, that one I missed. That one, well, the only part of this that I could have really taken advantage of at the moment is this. I think that's what you're talking about. That I missed. It just kind of moved quick before I had time to think about it. But this at the moment, I wouldn't have taken that. Was waiting for a lower high. We did have a lower high, but it gone too far. We're more like that's a channel, but there's nothing here really. If I'm looking at this larger channel, obviously I'll be looking for shorts. There's nothing really that would interest me. That one, obviously. But then when we get back up here, because we're still in that channel, going short here, I think it's risky, because if we're in that channel, usually we'll have a break, and you never quite know how far this is going to come down. In fact, once that slice through that EMA, I was amazed it came back. You get used to seeing price, and you get used to having a good idea where it's going to go, and I didn't see that. That pushed down that quick. I thought we were going to get a little pullback and then down some more, but it literally pushed up 21 ticks without hesitation. So it's a tough one, yeah. So, I mean, what I've done over the last few years is I've definitely slowed things down a bit. Now, you probably know I go for 3 points now, and I try now to go for as clear a setups as I can. And if I can do that, I only really need 2 trades in a week. Now, I've already got one so far this week. And I'm up a nice 3 points. Well, I'm up about 3.5 points, I think. Out of my 5 PAs, 2 of them I am trading for 3 contracts. I thought I'd just try and increase those a little bit. So I'm up nice this week. So I'm up about 3.5 points all in all this week. So one more trade would put now in an... If you ask me what my ideal amount was to earn a week or to get to a week, I'd say $500 per account. And if I can do that, that will give me that thereabouts of $2,000 per account. And I think that is an ideal amount to get. Now, you know, we have this conversation sometimes. Do we aim for amount? Do we have a target? I tend to not have monetary targets because obviously you can only take what the market gives you. But if you ask me where I would really feel pleased if I could get to, excuse me, it would be about 500. So if I can take 2 trades a week, that will give me $600. So 8 trades would give me around about $2,500. And I can afford to take 2 losses there, and that would still give me around $1,900. Now, even if it was an absolute naff month and I only earned half of that, let's say $1,000, with 10 accounts, $10,000 a month isn't a bad wage at all. And if you can obviously get consistent there, you know, when your confidence lifts and, you know, we know it's all mindset. And if your mindset, you know, keeps at a good level, I think from what I've been told by experienced traders, once you can start to earn money, money just follows you. Then, you know, you can't seem to stop making it. Now, I'll tend to believe that when I see it. But one of the first, you know, when I first learned to trade, Andrew Lockwood, I've mentioned him before, really good trader, but he's had donkey's years of experience trading for big city banks. He said, focus on the trade and the money will just follow, I guarantee it. So, but yeah, I like 3 points. And if you go for good setups, they go for 3 points. That one clearly did. But the trouble is I had mixed feelings about that because it was such a big bar. And then obviously by then it just, well, it came down. I wasn't focusing on it at the time. I was there you go, money come to me, show me the money. I was looking at this NQ at the time of the triple test. So I was thinking, oh, there's a nice triple test there. And then that started coming down and this did. So I averted my focus really. And then I waited then once it started coming down here, I waited for a lower high, which I didn't get, unfortunately. But if I could get 2 nice trades a week, I don't think it's unrealistic in the slightest to expect an 80% win rate if you're being very, very particular at all. So, you know, 80% win rate, you can earn a ton of money really. Just pick and choose your trades, couple a week, and I'm happy. You know, anything more's a bonus. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in a good place now. I feel the longer you've been doing this, I think the less the dramatics affect you. You know, when I first started trading, I remember the first couple of evaluations I did, I remember feeling like my neck was in a vice. They were that scary. I was that tense. And eventually you do this every day. It starts to become, for want of a better word, mundane. In other words, just like a normal job you get up and you do without thinking about it. And it's getting more and more like that. And I'm getting more comfortable with it. And I'm starting to get to the stage where I'm enjoying it now. It doesn't scare me anymore. You know, I'm not saying if I was trading 20 accounts, the nerves wouldn't come back. But I've got 5 accounts and that is perfect for me. I'm not nervous. I'm not scared. I find the impulsive side of my trading is starting to decrease. So I'm in a nice place at the moment and I feel like I'm on the road to recovery. So, you know, rather than picking something, if I was taking an evaluation, I'd for sure take a short there. But there is no guarantee. There's 2 things about that. One, we're still in this channel, I think. And the trouble is when you have a break of a channel, we know we have a new extreme, so going short there, we could continue higher, which we did, but obviously we came back a bit. But another little strategy that I talk about is when we get into one of these tight ranges, whenever we get a bearish bar, if you just buy there, 8-point risk, 8-point profit, more often than not, it pushes up. And we had one there, so there is a possibility it could trigger and push up. So I didn't want to rely on that, although it does turn there, but it does what we expect it to do, push up, make a new extreme. So, which is why I kind of left that at the moment. But like I say, I don't want to say risk-free trades, but certainly those ones that blow your socks off, and you know the trades where you can't click the button quick enough. There's no doubt. You just do it. And I'm at the stage now where I don't even bother counting so much. I go for how it looks. If we talked about this lots of times. If you're looking at a setup, you're invested in that picture. And if it loses, you kind of never forget that. And that picture of a loss, the way that's, that market's looking, is locked away in that brain of yours. And whenever that picture arises again, something doesn't feel right. So I tend to not count. I mean, that's not a second entry by the count. It's actually a third entry. But to me, it's 2 legs up and I'm expecting it to come down. So that's what I like about it now. I don't have to think so much. I just like the look of it. I'll go for it. So if this is a channel down, we've had a break, you may expect a new low. But at the moment, I'm not taking a short at the moment, because if you take that out of the way, it's looking more rangy now, isn't it? It is nice to be aware of that. But I think at the moment I can probably get rid of it. That's unless this thing starts to come down towards the bottom again. But at the moment, I'm just going to shove it up out of the way. But looking at this, it's rangy, isn't it? So a channel there and a break, multiple pushes up. So you could say failure here. If there's a channel, failure, come back there. But if you're looking at that NQ, this to me looks like a possible second entry long. So this looks like it may be bracing for another push up. And if the NQ goes up, the ES will follow. You see Max big uptrend from yesterday. If so, what are your thoughts? Didn't he have something similar to me initially? Because I got rid of it, didn't I? It was that one there, wasn't it? I ummed and ahed about this. I went for that most of the time. And if I remember, who was it that said initially it was down there? It was it Sean or was it? I can't remember. It was one of you. I then had it there, didn't I? And then I think I moved it there. Yeah, that was it. And I think it was something like that, wasn't it? Let me have a look. I can't remember, Max. It was early hours of the morning when I looked at it. He had it... Did he have it like that? I think he might have done. Buy bullish breakout of the... Yeah. I'll have to have a look later. I'm pretty sure he had it like that, didn't he? But he did mark a few trades here, didn't he? And there as well, talking about that. The trouble is, he talks about those as a very strong trend. But for me... by the time I've realised it's a very strong trend, we're up here. So it's kind of too late, really. But yeah, I think he had it something like that. But it was similar, but it had a break on the third touch. Yeah, Mac, for some reason, a lot of his charts, he has lots of breaks. So whether it's because he quickly draws them and doesn't maybe pay attention, see that little break there? Maybe doesn't pay attention, but so many times... He pushes through stuff. So this is interesting. Let me just have a look at this. Possible second entry long. If we get a higher low here, that may interest me. Let me just... I'll get his chart up in a sec. There may be a spike in channel, a leg and a leg. That might not be a bad option. My only slight concern is it's going into the midline. And it's under the EMA at the moment, but it is a leg and a leg in what is looking like a possible spike in a channel. But I'm not going to assume that, just in case there is a bigger channel and this is moving down. So if we get a higher low here, that may interest me. See, looking at that channel now on the 10,000 tick chart, this could come down, a couple of pushes up and then down. So I'm staying out of a long trade here just at the moment. I think by the time his screenshots the end of the day, his channels get put... Yeah, it might be something like that. Yeah, it looks like breaks, and every one of his is a you know, his charts, they are a little bit all over the place, I think. Let me have a look. I usually watch Max early hours of the morning when I'm half asleep. In fact, I was the first one to watch it, I think. In fact, I think I was up when it came out. Yeah, I was. I was downstairs on the computer, I think. Where? Okay. Just going to bring this in. It's all right. I'm just wondering whether we're going to push up here. I'm going to bring this in a minute. Yeah, he kind of had it. Let's just pull it. Let's just pull it in quickly. Yeah, he had a break here, didn't he? But yeah, you see this here like that? See how it's broken out there? I'd make that a bit wider. And this one, it doesn't hit the bottom. It misses that one. It misses that one. So sometimes I don't know why he does it. See that? We come from there, but the corner's missing there. The corner's missing. The corner's missing. The corner's missing. And it's fading away from the top. I would naturally want to bring that down a little bit. So same here. Look at this. Corner, corner, corner. It's whether he just does it quickly or not, I don't know. But half of these, look, they're out. So, and look at that one. That's a million miles away. So I don't quite know why he does that. Whether he does it because it's just sort of... why can I not get rid of this now? Yeah, I don't quite know why he does it. Whether, you know, it's a rush or something or not, I don't know. But sometimes you don't know whether he kind of knocks it up quicker. I'm going to drop that down just a fraction at the moment. There is a little second entry long there, and the way that's pushing up quite a bit above it, it may work. So if we can get a higher low here. So that little doji there, you've still got to be a bit careful here because that 10,000 tick chart, that's not a bad fitting channel. We've got a break here. This could come down. In fact, look at this. God, so tempting to take a short there. Very tempting. In fact, ooh. It's so tempting to take a short there. In fact, you know what? I don't even like that. But it's come a bit too far for me. That's the only bit that's making me nervous. But there'll be liquidity there. I would prefer this a little bit higher. Excuse me just a second. Okay. Yeah, it hasn't triggered anyway. I don't know, it's getting a little bit choppier at the moment. Let me have a look at that. We could be ranging in this area, so I prefer to have a break of it. We are starting to have a break and a couple of legs up, and then maybe go down for a second leg. just think it's a bit risky there because it may trigger that, go one leg up, two legs up. That's gone a bit too far for me. It didn't trigger anyway, fortunately. But that was my concern there. It's gone too far, that has really. It's pushed straight over and gone straight up. So maybe we can get short up here somewhere. The wicks are up top anyway, indicating a push up, and then a little bit of it's interesting again. That looks like two pushes up. Same again. Very tempting. But I want something obvious. It's much safer, and you get a better win rate, and you take less trades if you take something obvious. So two legs down, a little bit of a range, which is okay. What I'll probably do then is, if we get a setup, is take a failed break out the range or a couple of legs, bearish bar here, hopefully to come down for another leg, which I think is certainly looking feasible. Leg down, a little bit of sideways. I expect to come down again. So I like the fact that we've triggered that bar, because that gives us our first entry. Then if we can get up here somewhere. Just going to get an order ready,
Order
just
submitted.
in case. Because if we can get a little breakout here, high or low here, trap that, come down. So NQ 1, 2, 3, possible triple test on the NQ. Second entry short there. Let's see how that forms. Trouble is, that bloody big now. We're nearly down the bottom now. I just can't take that. It's gone too far, really. Is it going to break below there? I'd absolutely think so, and possibly there as well. Unfortunately, the move's really gone, I think. Let's see if we get a lower high here or something. We just see whether that could be a larger channel. It certainly could be. Trouble is, the move's already made, really.
Order cancelled.
Triple test on the NQ. We had a triple test on the NQ there, came right down beautifully. We've had a break, two pushes up, we came back, 1, 2, 3. another triple test along here, which I kind of like. So I prefer it a little bit higher, but it's triple test nonetheless. I think it'll come down, but I just can't go short there. If you go short one tick below there, it's right on this bottom line. See if we get a lower high. There'll be some liquidity below there, I don't doubt. There's a bit of a failure there, trapping that second entry short. Okay, so anything there, possibly there and there, just got eaten up. Let's see if we get a pullback now, and then maybe some continuation down. Leg and a leg, little pullback here. Short there, be nice. So leg down, and there I'm guessing. My only slight concern is we haven't got to the bottom here. So it's still a channel down. One attempt to go higher. It's got to get above here for me, really. No entry, unfortunately. I was hoping we're going to sort of tick above this and get a lower high. I never like those that just finish flush. So Thomas Wade took that one as well, did he? Little devil. He took it there. I couldn't bring myself to take it there because look how much support's along there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just couldn't go short there. Unfortunately. I like the bar, but the trouble is we get a bit of a wick and I just don't want to go short there. Let's see if we get a second entry short here. Let's get an order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
So there's a lower high there. I'd still have preferred that to push a bit higher. What makes me nervous, it pushed below this and then pushed straight back up. Yeah, I'm not taking that at the moment. It's a little bit stacked, just a little bit. May
Order
work,
cancelled.
but I'm sitting tight. Something about this I just don't like. I'd have preferred it up here with a stem, then I'd have had a go at that. But so we have got a channel there with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. So this could be broken up into 2. But I've just got this there just out of interest. That's pushed up there, got a tick away from it and turned back down. So at the moment, this is of interest to me. I'm looking for liquidity down here. It's got to get down enough. If we had some decent liquidity, some really obvious traps, I may have a go, because once we get down so far, I just don't trust this picture. So that has finally triggered now. I think it'll probably work. I'm just staying out of it at the moment. I'm just not a massive fan of it. Yeah, if it holds out here, then I think it'll go. But I just don't trust those 2 stops. A second entry short up here, I'd much prefer. Take these 2 out and then come bearish. Whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. Yeah, so if you'd have taken that one, you'd be a bit nervous about now. So if we can close somewhere here, push up, stop those two out, trap the long, beautiful, trap the long, and then come down. So if we can break above there and come down, second entry short there. Now, bearing in mind, there is a bit of support here, so we could go up. Whether we will or not, I don't know, but if we can get a nice looking second entry short here, then I may have a go at that. That's a big bar, that. So I'm going to put that back there now. So channel break, 2 pushes to a new low, and it's reversing. You took that one there. Yeah, I just wasn't sure about this. If there is a bigger downtrend, you don't know whether it's going to trigger you, and not just that, it's big, I think. You done, are you? Good on you, mate. What's the size of it? So tick above it, tick below it. Yeah, it's about 4.5 points, that. You just don't know whether it's going to... I was hoping that would push up, trigger these two, stop these possible out, big bearish bar start to come down, then I may have had a go at that one. So, same again up here, look. Triple test, 1, 2. That one I was a bit unsure of because I'd preferred it a bit higher, but that one has gone higher. So this could come down. 1, 2. Channel, 2 attempts to push higher. How far did that go? So if you got long there, it went up 4. So you comfortably got 2 points anyway. Lower high might be a nice option. Seven Tivix. Good on you, mate. Actually, I prefer your name. 7 ticks, yeah. It went for, I think it went for about 9, 10, didn't it? Yeah, I think it went for about 2.5 points. It's just big. I'm just not sure this will coming down. You just never know whether it's going to go long, trap some, and then come down again. Triple test on that NQC. See if we get a lower higher. So channel down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher. For me, now I expect this this second leg down. I'd have preferred a lower high about here, but maybe we still get one. Let's have a look, see if we can extend this range. What's the back end look like? Not bad at all, actually. Second entry short straight lower higher might be a nice option. And then I'll trust that. And then if it does come down to here, so I don't think it'll give us that. I hope it does. Second entry would be nice, but you just don't know, do you? Let's have a look. So NQ triple test, we've had a bit of a pullback. If we could trap that, which we triggered there, and come down bearish for a lower high, I expect this to come down then. And then we may get something equally as nice. We'll see. Possible second entry short. There is a second entry short, but it's just come too far, I think. Now, if we push down below there, I think you'll get your points. But if it is rangy, you don't really want to be taking it 3/4 of the way down, which is a shame, because if the bottom of that was up here somewhere, then I'd have jumped all over that. Sway's just posted this, so he's got his the same. The only difference is I've drawn that possible bigger trend, but he's got the same pushing down. So I'm certainly on the right road. So that one's triggered now. Let's see if it does push. If it gets below there, it's game over. You'll get your points. But I'm just not sure at the moment. That's Kami's gone a bit too far down for comfort. A lower high. I prefer a bullish bar here trigger giving us a long failure. It's just not pushing down convincingly enough now. We got a doji, you see, so surprised you haven't heard nothing from Apex. I thought they'd have to be on their game at the moment. People aren't going to pay that. After paying 80% off for the last 2 months, there's no way people are going to pay 50% off. Not a chance. I appreciate all you guys that use my code from Apex. The thing is, with my funded futures and Fast Track Trader, I actually get an individual email every time somebody uses it. And somebody has used one a while ago, my funded futures, and 2 last night. So whoever used those, it's much appreciated. And 2 first Fast Track Traders I've ever had as well. Somebody used 2 using my link. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. And obviously people who trade Apex, you get an email every day saying you earned $40 today or whatever. But you don't know if somebody individually has traded it. And I like to... so I can't thank anyone individually, but if anybody's using those, I do appreciate it. So thank you. I think Apex knew about people gambling on CPI, so that's a good point, John. That's a really good point, actually. The difference is, though, if you're going to be doing CPI and you know the offers come in, you know the offer ends last night, you'd think, or the people who wanted to trade CPI, you would think would pick their evals up yesterday. Look at this, lower high on there. Now, if I was trading this at the moment, I would 100% take that. But the trouble is, look at this. It's so tempted to take that, but look where it is, right at the bottom again. I just couldn't bring myself to do it, because if it went against me, now there is a failure there, but I always like it to trap a nice positive bull bar, and that for me isn't one. So just at the moment, as tempting as it is that this comes rocketing down, I just can't do it. It's gone too far. You take that away, see, would you go short right at the bottom of a range? Range, yeah. No, I wouldn't. Because there's a triple test then, that could push up to the top. Now, it looks pretty decent on that NQ, but I like to have confirmation for both, really, so it could come down, but regardless of how bearish this looks, I wouldn't take it based, I wouldn't let it affect my decision to to a degree enough where I'd have gone short right at the bottom of that. Although if it gets below there, I think it'll probably I can't get my words out today. I'll probably well push down, but I just can't do it really. It's just gone too far, unfortunately. Although I had a pretty good inkling it would work. I just, if something says stay away from it, I have to listen to it because. He's watching us, probably, isn't he? I think he's got bigger fish to fry than me, hasn't he? In fact, I don't think my channel even comes into his decision making in the slightest. We obviously know Alpine Trader. He's certainly, or they've certainly kept an eye on Alpine Trader, that's for certain. I am pleased they've let him keep trading. Because it wasn't his fault, really. They were allowing him to do it, so you can't blame the guy. So I am glad they haven't froze him up and said, you're not trading with us, blah, blah, blah. So there you go, I said it. I said it, Karina. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm glad they have kind of let him carry on. So that did work. It is a failure, but the trouble is I've taken trades like that before thinking this is coming down and it triggers me, rockets up, takes out that stop, and anything up here. So, you know, if you're going to assume it's going down, you want to be short in the tops, really, not right at the bottom, regardless of how I feel. But there we go. Yeah, we should get something today for sure. I did put something on Charlie's site earlier. I put so is Apex 50% off. Yes, but then Charlie said, yeah, but the fee's still $85. Doesn't really make much of a difference at the moment. Let's have a look. Yeah, nothing as yet. I'm surprised, really. You'd think they'd be on the game, wouldn't you? Anyway. Let's see this. Okay, so leg and a leg. You'd like to think now we'd be hunting for the lows. So at least we know where it can go. If it gets below the lows of the day, then that would make sense. But just for now, I'm just going to tug it out of the way. Because there is a possible overshoot here, so we could get a steeper pullback. Yeah, Thomas has extended his as well. So, what looks like a little overshoot. I like that because we touched multiple times there, and it didn't look too bad here, but a quick drop down, an overshoot, followed by a strong pullback, 19 ticks. So, is it going to continue down? Certainly could do. we've definitely had more than... in fact, hold on a sec. I could put that there, actually. Leg down. Correction. Yeah, I prefer that. And it has worked right to the tick. Leg break, new low. Correction. Down for a second leg. So it has played out that right to the tick. So I don't automatically want to think about shorting here. Right here. And part of the reason is this NQ is ranging beautifully at the moment. So I would be wanting to think about shorting up here. So for me, this has some upper room to go yet before I'd even consider it. So hopefully this has the same. I didn't realise actually John Skelton was a co-founder. I thought he just worked for. I thought he would, he managed it or something. I didn't realise that he was a co-founder. They were sort of partners. I got to say though, his face doesn't suit that voice. I don't know what it is. That's not the voice I expect. That's not the face I expected for that voice. That voice more suits Daryl Martin's face, I think, but I did not expect that. He doesn't look that old, does he? And he looks in his maybe mid-30s, maybe 40, I don't know. But I thought it was going to be a lot older guy. It's weird how these voices get in your head and you kind of make up a possible type of face, and that one surprised me. Tomato Sky, okay, John, yeah, because there is a John, there is a Mark and a John, isn't there? I think. I'm not sure they're one of the same people. I guess they're brothers. I had a look at that on his Facebook thing because I thought I've heard the name Mark Skelton before, and now John Skelton. They almost look like twins. So whether he has a kind of another name, he looks in his 40s. Yeah, I don't know. His voice just seemed to strike me as a lot older. But yeah, I kind of think he's got a brother or a twin, maybe. It's hard to say. Okay, apparently resets are still $35 at the moment. So if you have blown one recently and you're after another one, you can get a reset for $35. It's in Facebook with Mark. It looks the same guy. Twins Apex. Yeah, I have a feeling that they're twins. Hard to say. Did you join Penguin's Trade Discord? I am in Penguin's Trade Discord, buddy. Yeah. I haven't been in it for a week or so. I have a look now and again. So yeah, there has been some trades around, isn't there? Yeah, so I am in that as well, although I don't use it as much. $35 a month. I don't pay anything, mate. I think once you've joined once, you're in, I think. I haven't paid anything. I paid once, maybe 7 or 8 months ago. So yeah, I'm going to drag this out a bit now, I think. So yeah, I think if you pay once, you get continued access. I get emails as well, so I don't think I get any special treatment. I don't think he knows who I am. So I think if you pay once and then cancel, you can continue with the forum, I think, with the Discord, and you still get the emails. Do you know what? I've gone back and forth a couple of times to Penguin. Don't get me wrong. I think the guy's incredibly talented. I think he's extremely good at what he does. But I think because I spent so much time at Pat's now, whenever I trade his strategy, all I seem to do is see Pat's trades. And, sometimes if you're going for a bit of a bad spell, sometimes you think you know, you look at something else and think, oh, maybe I should do this. But every time I've gone and traded that style for a couple of weeks, I just kind of veer back to Pat's. And I think Pat's is where I'll stay, really. Yeah, I've been trading it now for nearly 3.5 years. And that's 3.5 years of sort of extra skills, you know, to not use. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I've chatted with a trader buddy of mine, Martin, and he thinks he's borderline genius, and I kind of agree. He's very good at reading those charts, but there is different levels of setups, and I've tried some of the more advanced ones, and they seem to rip me apart. So, you know, when you've spent so long learning one way and you kind of think I should just focus on what I know. And it just seems I tend to move back towards him when I go for a little bit of a bad spell, rather than just accepting the fact that sometimes, you know, in that learning process, you know, it's not all roses and champagne, is it? Sometimes you're drinking dirty dishwater. But a couple of times I've moved over a little bit, and I do tend to fall straight back. So I saw a video as he counts different second. Yeah, he's got some quite advanced ways of reading the market, which are beyond me a little bit. But he's extremely good at what he does. So I think if you're learning from him, I don't think you're going to go far wrong. Okay, what the hell is going on here today? So we've had a perfect measured leg, and we've had kind of like a double bottom. Yeah, visual second entries. Yeah, do you know what I found as I get more experience with? Most of my stuff's visual now. Like that there isn't a second entry by the count. It's a first entry, and it's just there's this, you know, it's a first entry, second entry. It's a third entry, that one. But to me, it's clearly two legs up. So it's a second entry to me is just two attempts to go higher, followed by a bearish bar, continuing down there. So I tend to now go with what looks right, rather than what it is by the count. And as we know, Matt calls those visual second entries. Excuse me. So that's how I kind of do things at the moment. So sometimes where I say I don't like this, it's just something about it I don't like, and that sort of instinct, I think, is just that, you know, as your skill level increases, you just get better at making better decisions. It's best to combine both. I agree. In fact, strangely enough, when I was trading that maybe a month or so ago, I took two trades like this, channel down, two attempts. I took a trade like that and Mac marked both of them. So they are very close. So that to me is channel down, two attempts to go higher, and hopefully a bearish bar. My only concern here about taking that is looking at the NQ at the moment. We're bouncing at the NQ, so my feelings are this could go up. There'll be liquidity there, and we've bounced off the bottom. So my gut feeling at the moment is, in the short term, that the NQ is bullish. I can be completely wrong, but that's my thought process. So I would stay out of that at the moment, and rightly so. It hasn't, or has it? No, it hasn't triggered anyway. So although I like the two legs up, I much prefer those legs right at the top here. Then that might be a different story, but yeah, look at this. It's very rangy here, and it's quite clean. We come down, we go up, down. The natural thing is up. So this is interesting. So up to this area now. So I'm glad that didn't trigger. I wouldn't have taken it anyway, and rightly so. So let's have a look where this thing goes. A small breakout like that I can fit. but nothing more. That looks like hidden second entry short, but I'd always wait for the lower high unless it's incredibly obvious. And we're only sort of 2/3 of the way to top on this NQ, so I think this is likely to hit these tops. Liquidity there, definitely liquidity there. There's going to be some traders took that lower high, and they've got the profits anyway. If they're holding there for lower, that to me will almost definitely push above that. So 2 legs and a reversal. In fact, I'll put that back where it is, I think. So leg and a leg. Now we knew that one was a perfect measured leg, and we came down and had like a retest. We broke a little bit lower, and now this is pushed up. So there'll be liquidity there for sure. Nice lower high there. That worked nice. But that wouldn't come this far up without taking that, in my opinion. Now, this larger channel, if you're still like this, we've had a break and we are working down, but we haven't come close to breaking the bottom of that. So I think this may continue down some more. If we can break above this and get a bearish bar, I'd expect this NQ to come down again. So I'm just keeping an eye on that. But yeah, I agree, both methods, yeah. They're very similar. A lot of times Mac marks them as well. You know, these sort of small 2 attempts to push up. Excuse me a sec. It's all right, thought I'd knock. Yeah, this looks like a leg down with a correction. If we can get a lower high, see, we're right at the top now, which is interesting. Now, for me, if you're going to go short here, you would do it when price breaks above that bar, and it looks like it's going to now, yeah. So there's probably going to be some buyers up here. You can see where the volume is up here. It came back and retested, but never broke above it. Came back 3/4 of the way down, came up again, didn't break above it, and then right to the bottom. And then eventually we pushed back out, took out any previous liquidity and had another push a little bit higher for good measure, and then 2 legs back down to the bottom. So I think at the moment, looking at this bigger chart on the 10,000 tick chart, I think for me, I'd still like to try and attempt to make a new low here. So if we get a bearish bar here, I'd like a little more of a break. In fact, there is a break there. So if we go for that there, there's definitely a break at a new high. So liquidity there, I don't know. Mainly there and a bit higher. So there may be some stops there depending on how you're doing it. But I'd like, with a break we've had, and then maybe another push up and a big bearish bar, then I expect this to come down then. So after this channel with a break, if we can get a lower high below that EMA, I feel there's a good chance we come down to the bottom now. So with this giving us bearish signals, possibly, and this, I think that combination of the two just helps you make a safer decision. Now, interestingly enough, there's a channel there. I wonder if there is something larger. It's a bit early to tell. If we bounce off here and then come down here, then maybe there maybe is. I don't think it looks terrible. Touch, 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 touch. Not concerned with that about the news, but we got a leg up, or like a correction. 2 legs down, a leg break, new high. Hopefully, if we can come bearish now, we've had a break of that new high. Then this may come down to the bottom. But we have had a push up and 2 proper pushes down to the bottom, so we could break out, come back, and then push higher. So that second leg would take us, actually taking away that spike would take us right to the highs of the day, which would be there. In fact, yeah, right to those highs. That's interesting. So a little bit of break out of here, pull back, trap some shorts, tick below, push up, a leg and a leg. That will get us closer to that top. If we come down here, maybe, there we go, a leg and a leg, get us all up here. So the larger legs up would get us up here, and leg break, new high, come back and retest. Second leg will get us up right to the right area. In fact, I even think, talking about that, using both, I even think looking at strategies like with the fair value gaps is interesting as well. I was watching that girl who trades with Tanya. Maybe a couple of months ago, I saw her take a trade. I think she took a long trade, but it fitted her criteria. But as a price action trader, seeing the second leg go up and the lower high, she went long, because as we had sort of two legs up, it came down to fill the gap, but also created a beautiful lower high. So after two legs up, I thought it was a brilliant short. When it triggered below, it triggered her thing, pushed straight up and stopped her out. So I think, learning price action skills, I think, will help you in any type of trading scenario. I think it's, from what little I know, it's the purest form of trading, purely reading and understanding how price is working, rather than maybe knowing 80% of what price is doing and then the other 20% using various different indicators. Al Brooks has lots of modules on gaps. Yeah. I've not watched too much Al Brooks. I've seen a couple of his videos, but I've not watched too much. But I think, as I said, I think price action is a real useful skill. I think it can help you in any scenario. But I may do a little bit of Al Brooks. I think it's good to understand lots of different ways to trade, without going into detail, without trying to master a different strategy, just understanding how other traders take trades. But once you've learned price action, I think you could pretty much adapt to most other styles of trading. But price action, really, if you're very particular and just wait for those great trades, you can have such a great win percentage. You really can. Price action, it's very, very few times now I don't understand why a trade didn't work. And most of, I think, the trades that don't work for me are ones where I may have been a little bit impulsive in my decision making. But if I sit here, if you put a gun to my head, I'm pretty sure I could knock out a 90% win rate at least. It's not that difficult when you get good at reading price, but you have to be patient. I think that's what gets most traders: patience and discipline. But as I say, if someone put a gun to your head, I'm pretty sure you could knock out a real high win rate. And obviously, the longer you've been trading, I've taken less and less trades over the last few years, and I think less is more in this environment. You take more trades, you're going to have more losses. I think when you're new, you think more trades, more money, and it doesn't really work out. I don't think it ever really works out that way. If you're experienced traders and you sit there for 6 hours a day as opposed to 3, yeah, you're quite likely going to earn more money. But what I find is I get really tired after a few hours. I was talking to Marco a few months back, and he said he's like a zombie after 3 hours. He tends to pack in at 3 hours and puts his chart on, and I think that's a good number for me. But I give myself up until 6 o'clock. So, if I'm not feeling tired, the market's working nice, or we're chatting about a nice topic or something, then I'll stay a little bit longer. But I don't outstay me welcome if I think the market's gone now, or there's nothing in it, or it's just one of those horrible days. I do finish a bit early after a couple of hours, but I still think it's worth getting some your regular screen time. I like to try and get at least 2 hours of screen time a day, because it does make a difference. These tennis players wouldn't be able to keep this standard if they didn't practice every day, and I think that goes the same for trading. I think because it's quite a real skill, I think you've got to keep your hand in, I think. So it's getting a bit hard to know what the hell's going on at the moment, whether this is going to push up higher or lower. So what I'm going to do I'm just going to leave this chart like this, and I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. The worst thing is getting a loser after 4. It is, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you remember back, but I used to do that all the time. I'd sit here and have the patience of a saint for 3 hours, and as the day was running out, I'd get that urge to try and get a trade. I don't do it now, and in fact, the longer I've been sat here, the less likely I am to take a trade. And I think it's a good habit I've picked up now. But I mean, you going back 12 months or even less than that, I'd sit there for 3 hours and then take a stupid trade in the last 5 minutes. But you do learn with time. This is something. Yeah, absolutely. I think you learn. This is one of those businesses that takes a lot of skill. And as your skill develops, you do learn good habits, don't you? A lot of it starts to come more natural. It's like anything. If you were a carpenter and you did it every single day, you'd naturally get better at it. You'd make less mistakes. You'd find, ways of making it fit better. But yeah, if I don't take a trade now, I give myself quite a pat on the back. I'm quite, if I don't go downstairs and my wife said, "How'd you do?" and I go, "I didn't take a trade," she goes, But I go, "No, that's good news. It means there wasn't a setup which was good enough, and I've had the patience and discipline to not take a trade." Days where there's no trade are part of it, and they're as important, if not more important, as the good days. Because the good days, when there's plenty of setup, which doesn't seem to happen much. You've got stuff to do, but when there's not a lot happening, you have to sit through chop. Those days are more importantly, because those are the days where you can do yourself some damage. But I find less is more with this now. I'm if I can do 2 winning trades in a week, that's perfect for me. Anything more is a bonus. But yeah, you can't help but get better at this if you sit here every day, and then you start to enjoy it. Then I don't feel like I've got a battle on my hand from morning to night now. I really enjoy my time at the charts. Working, honing me skill and improving, and sometimes you still get a couple of vital lessons which you need to learn. Sometimes you still get stitched up, but we're not perfect. We're human beings. We still make mistakes from time to time. The best traders in the world do, but the more you do it, I think the less that happens, and the less sort of mental damage it does to you. Anyway, I'm going to leave you for 5 minutes. Quick cup of tea, and I will be Okay. Right, where are we heading now? Channel down, leg and a leg. So I would say for me, I'm going to do that. Actually, no. No. Let's just do this, I think. So, channel down, a leg and a leg. No, let's get rid of this. I don't like it now. So, this looks to me as I thought. We push up out of it, we come back and bounce off the top, and we push up some more. So we got a leg and a possible leg here, and we got a leg and a leg here. So I think the chance of this going to this area is pretty decent, actually. So I'm just going to put that there like that. I think there's a good chance we get into this area. And if that does continue on up there, this will as well. So I'm going to extend this channel. What do I think? I don't think it looks terrible. It also have a measured move off the range. Yeah, so let's see. Let's have a look. Let me zoom in here a bit. For me, I think this is likely to continue up. Now, I could be completely wrong, but my gut tells me that we have that. Something like that. Leg and a leg, leg and a leg. So, if that's the case, this could go up as well. So, it's a bit hard to read today. It's clearly going sideways. We've bounced here. Is this where we're going to bounce or we're going to push high? It's hard to say. What am I seeing? Yeah, so Thomas has got that same thing. Anybody else? So we'll see. I mean, this could come down. It's one of those things, isn't it? But I just kind of like to work out where I think it could go, and I'll see what happens. Let's put that there and drag this down just a smidgen. I think that fits all right. Let's just see how this happens. But yeah, often these types of trades will push up, go sideways. Really, that's just two attempts to go lower, a leg and a leg right at the bottom, and another leg and a leg right at the bottom, and we've pushed up and out. So we pushed up and out, retest. So I think the chances of getting up here are pretty high, personally. So if that's the case, now there is a second entry long there, which is very tempting, but I'm going to hold back here and wait for a higher low. There's enough room. Yeah, we've got a doji there, but leg up, 2 legs back. That will take us up to the tops, I'm guessing, somewhere. Yeah. So we'll see, but I'm not automatically, although I love that as a correction. It's a really nice looking correction, but we got a doji there at the moment, so I'm sitting tight here. But if we can get a higher low, channel 2 legs back, I think there's a good chance we get up there. There'll be some liquidity there, I don't doubt it. But a leg and a leg will get us up to here. So if that was a bullish bar and it was on top of there, I'd take that because I love them corrections. Especially when they look that nice. Let's have a look at this 10,000 tick chart. So we've had a break out of it, a leg and a leg, and a leg, and I think another leg. So let's forget this. Let's put that there and bring that down to there. It's hard to say at the moment, but I'm certainly thinking more on the lines of bullish at the moment. That is done what I was hoping it was going to do, bounce off here and push up nice and strong. So I love the way it's come back. It's bounced underneath this line. It's pushed up and bounced on top of it and took off. So I think this is going up. So I just hope this doesn't go too far. Yes, if that was bullish, just where it is at the moment under this, I wouldn't have taken it. So leg and a leg and a push up. If we can get a higher low here that's not too far out the picture, then that may interest me. So little pullback here. I accept that we're getting close to the top of this channel. So let me just look at my other chart, see how that's looking. It's got less of a stem there, this other chart. Yeah, that touch there, touch there, touch there is a little bit concerning. Yeah, he's got a lovely bar, he has. That's a lovely second entry long, nice bar. Mine's nowhere near that. That's why it's good to have another chart. He must have a couple, I think. The only concern I have is we do seem to be finding some support there. bounced on the top. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want it to trigger there and then see what happens. Okay, it has triggered that. So we're at the top of this channel now on the NQ, so we may get a little pullback on the NQ. Excuse me, and maybe one here as well. I was kind of hoping we'd pull back before we broke above that bar. So that one worked. As I say, if that was a bullish bar and we weren't under this, I'd have taken that one because I love them type of corrections. So touch, perfect touch, perfect touch. It's all right. Taylor's put that as a break. I'm quite happy as it is because we've got a perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect touch. Then there's the break, the correction. Okay, so I expected a pullback here and one on the NQ. That's fine. I got no problems with that. So I'm going to move this to there. So I'm not sure about high or low here. There's such a lot of support there. If I take that line left, not that one, that one, it interacts with more, I'm sure. Yeah, it does. Perfect touch there. Touch there. I'll be surprised if something happens. Well, maybe not, but yeah, so if you'd have took that one, it may be a bit worried there. Let's have a look. So leg and the leg. Let's see how this phases. 2 legs down and a higher low. You got to be so careful with these, so close to the top though. See how it forms. The next bit of liquidity is up there and then there. Very tempting here. The trouble is we've still got over 1,000 ticks left to go and it's 14 ticks already, tick above, tick below. That's a lot of risk with not a lot of space to the top. See, we've still got over 1,000 ticks and we're at 15 ticks already. Yeah, that's a lot of risk, that is, going along into this. Is it going to work? Possibly. Let me look at that. It's 18 ticks. Tick above, tick below is 20 ticks. I'm not risking $500 per account. That's $2,500 risk. In fact, more. I've got 2 of my accounts on 3 contracts. No, that's madness personally. There may be some liquidity there. There'll probably be some there. It could push up to here and turn down. It really could. You know, channel up with a break. 1 attempt to go higher. 2nd attempt to go. It could fail here. Yeah, you want to take that here, really, somewhere like that with a bit of distance to the top. I think if you had a stop below there, I think you'd be pretty okay, actually. Has it made 3 points? Yes, it has. So that would have worked comfortably for 3 points. I love that the correction. My only slight concern is it was just below there, although it was above the EMA by a fraction. I love the legs, though. I love them when they're like that. Just that right angle. But that would have worked nicely. Still out before the highs. Two legs down, high or low. The setup doesn't look too bad. There's just no room to the tops. And that worries me with such a big bar. So we got correction, leg up. Yeah, I still think there's a good chance we get up here. I just don't want to take that one with this here. A little bit there. And yeah, there is a little bit of support there. We pushed above it, but pulled straight back. We pushed up it nice and strong, turned up and come straight back. So we are finding a bit of support there. So this could be, if you think about it, we got a small break out the range there, and we got a small break out the range. So it could tick above this. It could touch here and turn, but there's definitely support there. Touch, touch, touch. And now again. So I think a long trade would be a bit risky. Maybe a failure here might not be bad. If I took a short there, what would I expect? To win or lose? I'd expect to lose. I'd expect to trigger it, touch here, and turn up and stop me out. So channel, break, two legs down, two legs up. Where do we go from here? Yeah, it's trying to push up. I'd be vulnerable there. I'd feel vulnerable if I took that short. Very easy for it to push up. Trouble is, if you got in here on a limit order for this higher low, is it going to push up enough? Let's say you got in there on a limit order for 3 points. You'd need to push there. If it pushes above there, I'm pretty sure you would hit that 3 points. Triple test on the ES. You know about triple test short? Yeah. You know about short? That to me is vulnerable. My gut is telling me that is going to get stopped out. It's not high enough for me. I prefer it to at least eke off some liquidity there. But if I took that, I'd be concerned. Yes, the NQ. Yeah, there is a lower high, which is trigger. It's going sideways, isn't it? It's a tough one, that is. Yeah, what I try and do now is think, if I took that second entry short, would I expect to win? I'd say no, because I prefer it to push above there and then turn down. And even then, I don't take it. I wait for a higher low, because a higher low is a much safer what's the word I'm looking at? Oh, come here, it's gone flipping fried today. I didn't have a very good night's sleep. It's much better confirmation that's coming down. So that to me is float in the middle of nowhere, really. It's vulnerable, and there you go. I like it when it pushes up and then comes down. Then that gives me some interest, and I'll look at the rest of the price and think, actually, I prefer a lower high here. So when we got that down there, I was very tempted to get in on that one on a limit order, because we still hadn't hit the 3 points. But this is what I'm expecting this area on here. Leg up and a leg up. Also leg up and a leg up on the smaller time frame. That's what I expected to get up here somewhere. So I kind of expected the same, but unfortunately that I don't like. It's too big, it's too close to the tops. That for a high, low or a failure doesn't come down low enough really for me to warrant getting in, because it could trigger you, give you a lower high, come down to the EMA and then turn and go up then. So even sometimes if it still goes up, it still comes down, makes your day miserable and then goes up again. So I'd say the safest one of those is there. Sometimes it'll flush down, take out that, and then rock it up. But that was the safest area for me. It's just unfortunate it was a doji and it wasn't sat on top of that line, because that then I would have had a go. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a naff light sleep last night. So, channel down, leg. I still respect to get up here, which would get this to the right area. It just may be one of those days today. It's very whippy. We got quite sort of whippy moves, although price doesn't look terrible. Shame about that one. I was focused on the triple test at the time here, and by the time this started coming down, I averted my eyes over. It was a bit late to get in there, and so I waited for the lower high, which we didn't get. So clearly perfect range day today. Leg and a leg down, two legs up, then the news, and then we started just going up and down, up and down. Now, if I was going to take a short, this would be where I'll be thinking about taking it, as we've broken above all that. But we haven't made two legs up. This to me is looking bullish. I want us in, well, we are in this area, but I prefer a little bit more, at least to get to these measured legs. So taking a short here doesn't interest me. A lower high, if this was a bit higher, then that may interest me, because we've had a channel with a break and or a correction, 2 pushes up. But a leg and a leg I expect, or as close to as we can. So we need to go a bit higher. We're higher on here and a little bit higher on the NQ, so either one doesn't include a possible short. Okay, this is where I was hoping we'd get to, in this box somewhere, and we are a tick away, a tick or two away from this larger channel, and a point or so maybe away from this smaller channel. Either way, either one gets us within spitting distance of this. This one pushes above that news. This one pushes ever so slightly above that top or the highs of the day before we had the that spike, that news spike. I think I'm going to finish in a minute. I'm starting to get a bit tired. Time is it? How long have we been going for? 5 o'clock UK time. So there we go, right to the tick. So that larger one's played out, and hopefully close to this. There's the eyes of the day. If we can push above that, happy days. So unfortunately there was just no trades up here really. I wouldn't want to take that. So that's played out. There is one more, which is close enough really. A couple of more ticks above that, a tick or two would have broken those highs of the day where the news spiked. And interestingly enough, this 10,000 tick chart has had the channel down here, 2 pushes up. I wonder where this is going to go to. There's a little bit more for that second leg. And if we hit that, that would get us close to this, and that leg would play out. So channel down, 2 attempts to go higher. Let's have a look. Okay, so that smashed through that, so that worked perfectly. It got into that yellow box, which I was hoping. So leg and a leg, spot on. And now this one's playing out as well, I think. A little bit more. Oh. Couple of ticks off that, and this looks like it's playing out as well. So leg and a leg, leg and a leg. I guess in a good place to maybe pick off something here. So shame about that one, but there you go. It moved quite quick. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Okay, so I'm knocking on the head for the day, folks. I'm starting to shut my eyes now. I'm really tired. I had about 4 hours sleep last night. I had to get up early this morning to put my car off to have a screen sorted out on it. So I just didn't sleep very well last night. So I will leave you to it. So I appreciate all the comments and joining up a bit earlier. That was a bit of fun, although it never worked for me. Some of you got it, but that's what happens. It's a bit of a shot in the dark whether that works or what. Tomorrow early, another class, not not based on how well it went today. Tomorrow. I don't think I can tomorrow. I've got to go and pick the car up tomorrow. So we'll see. Well, maybe if we get some more news next week or something. It's Friday tomorrow, isn't it? If we get some more news, we might have another go. We'll see. See if they give us an offer first. We've got nothing on the table at the moment, I think. Let's have a look. We got no discount shown at the moment. We're bound to get something. They won't leave it at 50%. No one's going to spend any money otherwise. So there you go. So I will leave you to it. So good luck. I hope you get something. And failing that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe. And we'll catch up again tomorrow. Bye for now.